Sir Leamerton here, discussing the strength paradox, a field report on power, peace, and what history actually shows. Good evening, field walkers, broadcasting from the frequencies between what's said and what's actually happening. Today's field notes concern some peculiar statements made by those in authority, that peace can only be achieved through military might, and that pacifism, they say, simply doesn't work. Let's examine what the historical record actually shows, shall we? Gandhi, a single man in a loincloth, armed with nothing but moral conviction and strategic brilliance, brought the British Empire to its knees. Not through violence, not through superior firepower, through soul force. The Raj fell, India rose, no bombs required. Martin Luther King Jr. faced dogs, fire hoses, and assassins' bullets. Never raised a weapon. The Civil Rights Act passed. The Voting Rights Act followed. Segregation crumbled, not because it was bombed into submission, but because moral witness made its continuation untenable. Now Mother Teresa, armed only with compassion, she shifted global consciousness about poverty, dignity, and what constitutes true strength. Her legacy outlives empires, and last but not least, Christ. Crucified by the most powerful military force of his era, his movement outlasted Rome itself. Turns out, martyrdom can be more strategically effective than conquest. Add to this, the Velvet Revolution, people power in the Philippines, Poland's solidarity movement, South Africa's anti-apartheid struggle, Czechoslovakia, East Germany. These weren't acts of weakness. They required immense courage, strategic intelligence, and a form of power that military academies don't teach. Now, contrast this with today's pronouncement that more military strength is needed for peace. The current annual expenditure, approximately $850 billion. That's more than the next 10 nations combined. And yet, curiously, we're told we're merely neck and neck in areas with rivals who spend a fraction of that sum. Meanwhile, the field notes other frequencies. Military barracks riddled with mold, suicide rates climbing among service members, mental health crises largely unaddressed in today's statements about strength. No mention of why resources sufficient to dwarf combined global military spending somehow fail to translate into proportional results. And then there are the drones. Ubiquitous sightings, constant reports, years of documentation, yet not one clear, close-up photograph released by those with the most advanced imaging technology on Earth. Curious, isn't it? The official channels speak of strength through steel, yet the warriors themselves sleep in spore-filled quarters, eating food often devoid of real nutrients. Resources flow upward. Transparency remains elusive. Solutions stay just out of reach, despite budgets that could rebuild nations. Here's what the field observes. True strength has many forms. Sometimes it wears boots and carries a rifle, protecting those who cannot protect themselves. That's real. That matters. But sometimes, strength looks like Gandhi refusing to bow, like King marching into dogs and fire hoses, like ordinary people standing unarmed before tanks, knowing the world is watching, betting that moral witness carries its own form of force. Both can be true. Context matters. Existential threats are real. Deterrence has its place. But to claim that only one form of power works? To erase those who literally changed the world through non-violent resistance? That's not strategic wisdom. That's institutional self-interest dressed as geopolitical necessity. That's a shadowy side of power and ego requesting more resources, while the evidence suggests the current allocation isn't being optimized for actual human welfare or demonstrable results. The field simply notes, when institutions claim more power is the only answer, yet show neither transparency about current resources nor care for those within their ranks, perhaps the question isn't how much strength, but what kind of strength and for whom? Gandhi, King, Teresa, Christ. They had no budget, no carrier groups, no satellites. And they moved empires. That's not weakness. That's a different frequency of power entirely, one that doesn't require appropriations committees, but does require something far more costly. The willingness to sacrifice, to witness, to stand firm without the armor of state violence. The field records both truths. Defense capabilities matter, and soul force is real. Those who claim only one works are selling something, usually more of whatever they're already holding. You choose the Department of War or the Department of Peace. Peace starts by winning the battle within. This moment of truth brought to you by the timeless and eternal department, the Department of Peace, a department smarter, stronger, and braver than any weapon formed. Period.